Okay. Oh, comes there very quickly. Let me just look. Yeah, we are live. That's good. Okay, now. Down. Welcome, Tom. Good.
Brian.
My name is Brian Knight and I live near Melbourne in Australia, and it's just turned 5:30 or just after 5:30 in the morning. It's actually on a Thursday for me today here, and I do remember that. So sometimes I have difficulty. Apologise for the coughing. Anyway, I've been in here in this group. Well, it's in the Ninja group for over 5.5 years now. And we're about to move over to a new group. Same community, same sort of philosophy, just we're going to be just in as a different group, that's all. Now, let me just share screen and I'll go through this to start with. Welcome to this live Forex analysis session. Please note any trades discussed here are to be classed purely as educational only. That's because we're a group of people helping each other. We're not financial advisors. So please only take trades you're happy to take based on your own analysis. And you got to get to the stage of analysing. As I always suggest, a demo account until you can prove to yourself that you are profitable is the advice I would give. Always follow proper risk management to protect your account as taught in IM Academy and the Ninja Group, as each trade carries risk as well as potential profit. 1% is the maximum I would put on any trade on any pair at any time. That reduces your amount of risk and gives you ability for percentage of profit. If the recording of this session goes anywhere and you're not already a member, an exclusive member, then get back to the person who has referred you so that you can investigate that. And as a member, I have access to Go Live, where there are a number of professional traders, people like Rock Kumar, a couple of other, the two guys, I can't try and remember their name anyway, Hogan. Anyway, they trade this strategy. They probably don't use the straightforward Forex indicator that we have. But anyway, and there are other professional traders in there as well that trade other profitable strategies. There is a full risk disclosure here and a little note about us as live session traders. So let's get into maybe you haven't been able to see. Or maybe Paul did it. Has anybody watched, let me just share screen again. Hang on a minute. Back to here. We go to the Ninja Group. Has Paul, there was Richard's done that. Paul's live session, he probably explained a whole lot about it. But I've just been watching. No, it's not there. All right then. Oh, well, it actually is here. I just was watching this. So Paul was explaining the indicator. He looked at one pair. He just went through the day. I think he came out with, there was a whole lot of, oh yeah. Okay. I'm going to be apologising a bit if I can't grab the mic to turn it off for a cough. But anyway, so he was explaining about that using MT4 with what's called Demon Scalper. And I think I'm just up to the stage where he's just about to explain the exit manager as a complete package. So I don't know. Did any of you want this to watch? But no.
I already watched it.
Oh, you already watched this? Okay, no worries, good. I don't know where it got dropped, but anyway, this is if you just subscribe to this, you'll get to see it anyway. All right. Okay. Well, let's stop sharing that then and share across onto charts. Let's have a look. This is where we're at. So, very nice trade. So, if you remember me talking about this and saying, there was going to be a little pull up and then we were probably going to continue a sell yesterday. No, you didn't do, Tom. I don't think you messaged in the group, Tom, about in the chat group. Anyway, it came out of that, remember that CPI crazy move here? And it pulled back down. Actually came back down to the bottom of that, pulled back, and then it dropped out the bottom into sell. And it's part of the 4-hour cycle. This is 4-hour cycle. You can see it coming off there. Don't worry about it. If we just go to the 4-hour and we open that right up. Oh, come on. I'm gonna take that off. Order that. There you go. That last, you can see that move there. That move there. So on the 4-hour, we're still in an uptrend. Yeah. But this is a pullback down that needs to happen to profit, so that they can continue the trend up if they want to. Okay, so you can see the 4-hour down, push back up and pull back down. This over 1, 2, 3. So yeah, start of the week. That was the CPI push, and then this is the pullback back down again. Now, I was sitting in a car yesterday chatting with my son-in-law, and we were talking about this and how crazy it is, and talking about response of the market. I don't know if anybody ever thinks about this. I do. If we come back to, so we come to a 3-minute chart and we look at this from a perspective of what happened in the world. Market was coming down. It did this crazy 150 pip jump in a very short period of time. Oh, welcome, Alistair. Welcome to the party. Don't worry so much about the, multi-time frame or any of those sort of things. I just want to talk about, like, from an institutional perspective, because remember the banks are institutional traders. And what we're doing is we're looking and following what those institutional traders are doing. Could you have forecast or planned this?
No.
Okay, good. First point. Second, because it did that, remember we said it was going to pull back down again. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Now, because it was in an uptrend, I said, well, maybe it might not break this low. I don't know if you remember, or it may not break this low over here. Yeah. And definitely, I don't think it'll break. We're going to come back over here, up here way. Break a low down here. All right. Maybe I'll put it on the 5. It'll be easier to see. There. All right. So because it's an uptrend, it's less likely to break where it came from here. It pushed up. It looks like consolidation, like on a 5-minute. It's not. It was still going up. For this move here, this crazy move, 150 pips, what seemed to be the reason that it did that? What was the news?
CPI. The US CPI.
Thank you. Now, when you think about this, you think, was it a good number for the US or was it a bad number for the US?
It's a good number.
Was it really, Alistair?
Was it not
was a-
higher than they were expecting? Is that not good, or is that I've got the other round?
Well, think about it. What is the CPI?
Consumer Purchasing Index.
Very good. Consumer price index, but that's okay. No problems. What does
price.
that mean if the number's higher? What does it mean? I'm just trying to get you to think
It's making
through
more
it.
expensive.
No, not necessarily. No, that's inflation. And yes, it will. Yes, it will show things more expensive. You're right, which leads to inflation. But what does CPI tell you that people are doing?
They're spending more.
Thank you,
Spending more.
Ray. They're chucking money out. They're chucking their
spending more money,
savings
yeah.
and buying
Yeah.
things with their money, right? In an inflationary setting, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing.
Bad thing.
It's a very bad thing. What does that mean that the Federal Reserve will need to do to rein that inflation? Because they're committed to reining the inflation in. And people are spending willy-nilly. They're spending money like there's not a problem, right?
Increase interest.
Well, they've got to put the rates up further.
Absolutely. So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Shockingly bad.
Yeah, that's going to hurt a lot of people, right? So, see where the price of the US dollar spiked up? And that was a bad thing. Why did the US dollar, oh no, this is the Canadian dollar, but US the same thing. They're just twins, so let's just take it for granted that both of them will actually react very similar. Because in Canada they have inflation as well. So they have in UK, they have in Australia, they have in New Zealand. It's crazy in New Zealand, but anyway. Why did the price get more valuable? Why did they pay more for it when it was really not a good outcome?
Crickets.
I love it.
Nobody
I love
knows.
it. And maybe
I
that's
do not know.
and maybe that is all we do know, Tom. And the point is, I want to make that is the best time to not trade.
Ah.
Now, over 5.5 years, I have seen this happen repeatedly. You'll have an increase in interest rate come out into Australia, which is, for example, I'm just focusing on Australia, but the US is demonstrating, or Canadian dollars, demonstrating the same thing. You got this really crappy news. Ultimately, it's not that great, and the price goes up. But you can't predict that move. You would think, because all the bits leading up to it is this is not going to be a good number, you'd think that the price would drop down, but it doesn't. It does the opposite thing. Right? Welcome, Helen, too. Now, I'm just trying to, you understand institutionally what's happening here. Yeah? Yeah. Hi.
I mean, the price there did go up, but it first bombed a bit down to activate the orders for the sales. And
Correct. It did. You're absolutely right, Alistair. That's exactly right.
That's exactly why they did it. It was just a trigger.
Correct. And so is it a good thing to be out of the trade at that point and not be able to predict that?
Yes.
Correct. What is the best thing that we can do post that? Post it. So we need to be patient. But what can we do when we post that?
Wait till they show us which direction they're going to take it in.
Correct. But what direction are they likely to take it in after crappy news?
Oh, pulling back.
Correct. Into sell. Yeah. Because after they have pushed it like that, there is likely to be a pullback. It came back, and it came back nearly to match off. Like it matched off here where it went to. It didn't come down this way, but then it just continued back down. I was just watching this all day yesterday while I was in a trade from Tokyo. At 9 o'clock, I put a trade on with 10 pip stop loss. And I have to say to you, I didn't put a TP.
So you're still in it?
No, not now. No, when it was pre-London Open, I actually got out of it like at the end of the Sydney Tokyo session. Because that for me is, what time was that? That's like 5 in the afternoon. So it was around about pre-London, because if I look at it, see what happened here when it comes to London or pre-London, see where it spiked back up again and did this and then did the crazy. And if I go to the day before, see where it was going down and it came to London Open, it did continue down, but then spike back up. So I'm just sort of looking at each day. If I come back out here, whoops, I'm going to pull this out. Again, price went down out of Tokyo, came here, went into London, and then pulled back, right? If I go back over here, price went up, went to London, pulled back, and then pushed up. I mean, I could have stayed in, but like for me, that's like, you know, I've been training myself to trying to trade within this Sydney Tokyo session, just to be really upfront with you all. See this? That's a buy. That one was a buy. That was a sell. That was a sell, even though it pushed up there. I think I explained to you, is that the day I explained? I kept getting knocked out. I can't remember. No. I think I explained it in that one, actually. So it's not, you're going to lose on days, but here, let's go back to the 1 minute. Order. I just want, is it all right to show you this sort of thing? Yeah. So here is it came up, it came back here, and I saw these drops here. I think I got in somewhere around where it crossed over that the 62, right? Now, again, if you were here in the session yesterday, which all of you I think were, I put a short on somewhere where it crossed over there, and I had a 10 pip stop loss because I learnt my lesson from the day before. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And see this spike back up here? I'll just measure from that spike up. That's still 6 pips. So if it's a 2 pip spread, let's just make even numbers of 1.7 or 1. Normally it's about 1.5 to 1 to 2, right? So at 6, I'm not going to be knocked out. Okay. It went down here. It was really nice. I watched it because I was watching it through the day. I think that was about midday. No, that's about 10, 11. Okay. Midday must have been over here. Yeah, it was, because it had pulled back up again. So that was like a 4%, and then came back up here and went, I was in negative. And then where was I? What time was this? Yep. As I was driving, I went with my son-in-law. He went and bought himself a new second-hand car to fit the whole family in, because when you have a new kid, you can't fit with all these seats in. So then down it went, down it went, down it went. And I think it was just before London Open.
Has he bought a roof rack?
Yeah, we've told the oldest one to make sure her mouth is closed while they're driving, because you can get bugs in. Anyway, no, he's got a 7-seater now. We got to pick it up next week, but it took like an hour and a half to drive where it is, the other side of Melbourne. Like, we're on the northern side, this is down the south side. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to get his other car ready to sell now. Anyway, that is a 9%. I think it was about there. I got out before London Open, because why? Because why?
Because you're expecting a pullback.
Correct. Yeah. And when I looked at here, can you see these 1 hour and 30 minute down the bottom here? I was getting a little bit like, ooh, these things are going to pull up, and London, pre-London Open or London Open is just going to go crazy. So I just left it at that. Like, I'm happy enough with 9%.
Heck yeah.
Is that all right? Now there's and the beauty of it is that's in my day while I'm awake. So I didn't need to worry, well, not worry, but I didn't need to get up at night time. And sure, this thing kept going down. So I would have got out of the trade. I would have then reevaluated what happens here. And look, it did pull back up in the London session. Look at that. And then it started going back down again. Into the New York, it pulled up and then it went down, right? And then the bloody thing just went sideways. So I'm glad I didn't trade any of this here. All right, now, let me show you something else. We'll get rid of that because that's one I had before. I didn't take, but I did there. All right, so this is a 24-hour period. So there's a really nice trade in there. I could have scalped out more if I wanted to, because if you watch Paul's video, sorry guys, I'm just gonna blow my nose. I'm just gonna turn the sound off. Mic.
Shocking, wasn't
You
Wait
guys
till he
are
goes back and sees the video.
hilarious. No, I heard it. I still had the sound. All right. So for me, that's a 24-hour. And what I wanted to say, or try and direct you to, is after this craziness here, this is highly probable. It's bad news. So it needs to pull the currency back, right? And if you look at it, the 4-hour cycle was pulling down as well at the time. So this is a lot easier to forecast if we even pull it over there. Crappy news, pulled down here. If I wanted to get in, it's like, oh, okay. So 4 hours here, 1 hour, everything's starting to pull down. I'm going to get into a sell. So it makes my forecasting easier. If I forecast incorrectly, I'm going to lose 1%. Right? Now, if we look here, I'm going to just pull into here. Right? You see up, up, up. See these couple of little pullbacks down? So that was 9 o'clock. That is, if I put a line on that, just so that you can, it doesn't matter which currency. That's a vertical line, right? It'll actually be, yeah, the line would be over here, somewhere there, right? That's when Tokyo opened. And look at the direction change. Okay. I'll get rid of that because it's only going to complicate it. Let's pull it out. I'm still looking at the structure of the market. I never got in until it started to pull down here, right? Now, if I do this, which you'll all have access to next week, look at that. Color change, bang, into it. That's where you can enter. You could end up here if you want to, but I've seen a swing high. Let's go draw that. There's a swing high. I can see this coming lower. I see it going lower. So it had a color change there for a sell. This, see how it's going sideways. I'm waiting. And so what is the, I'll get rid of that. What is the wait time here? Okay, you'll see a high. I come to here. Oh, beauty, it's lower. It pulls down, breaks structure, breaks that structure, pulls back up. Okay, The wait time here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 minutes, right? I sat here for 10 minutes, right? Just after 9 o'clock, not a big deal, easy. And then get in the trade. If you want to have a lot of alerts, or if you're trying to want to scalp this, because remember, I'm looking for institutional longer term trade here. I'm not looking for ones that, that I can get a short thing. And what I could have done if I wanted to, but I wasn't going to be home. When I put the trade on, we were getting in the car and we were driving for an hour and a half. So I wasn't going to be able to look at this. Actually, it took a couple of hours because we had to do a few other things. But if you want to follow this, you could say like, okay, that's the color change there, which you probably wouldn't put on the trade. You would wait for this to change here, as I said. And these get thicker, right? So, yeah, okay, we got that. So if you're on a short position here, you could have put the trade in like somewhere here. It would have been quite easy. When I said when it crossed over 62, I'm pretty sure that's about where I got in. That's my thing. And I had 10 pips. Here, you could put it to the top of this previous high. You could choose, or, oh gosh, I haven't got it. Paul talks about putting, is it that one or that one? Oh no, I think he leaves. Is it? Oh, I can't remember if it's that one or that one. I'll just leave these two anyway. Yeah, okay. We'll see if that does it. He's saying, okay, so it's going in a bear direction and you're in at that point, you're going to put your stop loss back up here at this bear. And that's okay. You could do that at the top of that there. That's the most previous bear. You've got a bear there, but it's pretty close to that. You'd put it up the top. So that's a 6 pip. And you got to ride this down, right? Down. It's still, it changes color just there when it comes back up. So that's a 3%. So you could do that if you're sitting in the chart and you want to scalp it, right? But it did make that entry a good decision. The only problem with me here, oh, no, it's not, is that what may have at that point taken me out.
How many pips is that?
I'm going to measure it.
Oh,
That's it's 1.7.
Oh yeah, that'd popped me out.
It would have knocked me out.
Yeah.
So, but if I had have had 10, well, sorry, I did have 10, but if you had have had 10, that would not have been a problem. So again, I'm in this.
How many is that, Brian? At 10?
I think I said to you it was
1.7. Now it went to
5.8. I think it was about 6
5.8.
pips. So there was plenty of, well, for me, if you might have to do with your Lucky Oanda group, you might need to make that more, which will lessen
mine's about 3.5. So it wouldn't have stomped me out, but
that's okay then. Okay, cool. So if you want to scalp, there's that. But I just wanted to show you that also gives me confidence of an entry as well. Yeah. And so then it just continued on. Yes, it came back up again, but basically it just kept dropping down. Yeah, it did little pullbacks, but it was still in a sell direction. Yeah. Then it started to come back up here. You got to make a decision like when these, so if you're going to be using, and this is where I'm saying to you, if the exit manager that Paul has, I think, so kindly done for the group, it will get you out on a color change. Absolutely. I was actually on a Zoom with him, and he'd got it back from the developer, and he just threw it onto a 1 minute chart. Well, I think it was a one, and it actually worked. So it's been, I think, a bit of time in the process, but he was trialing it all. So you'll have that as an exit. But the point is, it will only be for that one, because as soon as it color change, you would be out of the trade. Then you'd have to be into another trade, then out of a trade, then into another trade. It's very much a scalping thing.
Right,
If
I'm
the-
surprised it
Yeah.
worked when he wanted to show it to you, because every time he does try and show it to us, it doesn't work. You can't
previously,
get it work, or you
No,
just
no.
get no.
previously, Ria,
No.
yeah, previously. No,
Yeah.
this is, and I think David Kahn had used it and said, yep, it had worked. So it only came out, well, I was chatting to him my last evening, so it would have been your mid-morning. So I don't know if you've seen anything since that. Was he on at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, he was
He's got
he
it
was on
working
at 1
today.
o'clock.
He demoed it working today.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
All
thing
his
I
trades goes negative with him when he goes on live
Yeah.
sessions, though.
Yeah, Rian. I mean, that's a high possibility, isn't it? The thing is, the thing I've learned through this whole 5.5 years of trading, Rian, is that you cannot be motivated by setbacks. You know,
No,
the things
it's just
will.
funny. We're just making fun of him.
He likes to make fun of others too, so it's all right. He can take it as well as give it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But if you're going to use that exit manager that he has, which is working, is functional, it will get you out because he is a scalper. For me, if we were to do this and say, right, I'm going to go to the 15-minute chart, and I'll just take pictures off there, and we come back to here. This is not something that I prescribe, but I certainly would be, how do I put this? If you want to, you can investigate this a bit further. You could trade off a 15-minute chart if you want to, because these smooth Heikineshis are a lot smoother or a lot more consistent than on the 1 minute. It just means that you will have a much later entry. You still have a market structure. You still have a pull up, a push down, and a retest, which is lower than the previous high for a sell. And you're going to be looking at this as a bear, or you've got a color change there. You don't have another color change. You're going to have to wait yourself here for probably a couple of hours before you could look at potentially getting into this trade. Now, if you're going to look at only a session, you might get out there, and yes, it pulled back, and then there was a lot more into that session. The people in the UK are probably not going to be trading this Sydney-Tokyo session anyway, because you're asleep. But it's my and Ray and a few of us, it's our ability to take advantage of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. So you can see the color. So there was a color change there. It did pull
Yeah,
down.
but all you're going to see, but at the same time, Brian, all you're going to see is you're going to see that CCD, that yellow dot, and you're going to see that red candle, and you're going to enter.
Correct. And it's going to pull back and knock you out.
Exactly. So you're going to lose 1%.
Yeah.
You have to expect those.
Yeah. And what you need to do after that.
Get
If
right
you-
back in when it changes.
Correct. Absolutely.
I mean, so even if you lose that 1%, look at what you
Yeah.
gain.
Yeah. I know. So that's what I'll do. You might not do the whole thing. So you'll get this pushback down, down. You might get in here and it'll pull back up again. So it just depends on where you get in. But you wouldn't get in until you start to get these thicker candles. And it probably it's about this pushback down. You've got 15 minutes to get in. You might get in about there. What you can do is have, again, you have a 10 pip stop loss. And if you're only going to go to the session end, that's 7%. If you're going to follow it down, you know, that's a good 13. But I'm just sort of giving you different scenarios here so that you can, you know, make the decision of what you want to do as a trader and what time frame you want to trade. It is no different here. It's still, price is still price. It's still pulled up from wherever entry there. All I'm giving you is a view that if you got in here, you could stay in because those candles were like that. And then when it pulled back up again and you got a green one there, that would get you out of the trade if you use the exit manager. Does that make sense?
That pullback is smack on the fib if you put a fib on it. So
And
that
it's,
pullback.
and it's also that pullback. Well, the pullback there is within that after it went from London to New York. But when the proper pullback up occurred, or the color change occurred when it came, when London closed, then New York pulled it up. I think this, you know, like when the sessions are on is important because there are important moves that occur within these sessions. As I said, either continuation or pullbacks. But look at it here. It pushes down and then came back to the 800, then pulled away. It just, I mean, this is where I'm at the moment, still on the 1 minute. And just, how come it's doing that? Yeah, but if you want to look at this now, this is Sydney Taylor. This looks crazy because this is a scalping tool. And that's one of the reasons why I take these bears and bulls off. I don't need them as well. But what I do have now, which I've only just done this morning, like just before the session, is that you can actually create an alert now. Yesterday wasn't right, but I've created an alert now for a direction change on the 1 minute for the CAD JPY. Don't want that. I'm going to stop that. Yeah. Which means what you can do, you can click on these dots, but you can click anywhere in the chart and go, where is it? Add alert, right? Change the currency down to put straightforward Forex on. I always do one for it. So you can get an alert on an up zone, a down zone, and whether you got it showing or not, it doesn't matter. It'll still give it to you. An up or down zone combo, because I don't have up and down zone showing, or it'll do a Heikin-Ashi color change up, Heikin-Ashi color change down, or an up and down. So I put an up and down alert on. Does that make sense? You'll get to be able to do this when you have this in your own hands. So what this also tells me is this is still in a bearish sort of trading at this point. Even though that's pulled up, it still hasn't, like, I'm pretty sure this is more of a breaker structure thing. It has broken structure up here, but it's pulled back down again. And where it's at, if you look at it, the 30 minutes there, the 1 hour is there, like where the 1 hour cycle is pulling up. The 4 hour, I don't know whether it's come down to the bottom or not. I have to just wait and see with this. But that 5 minute means it's going to pull back down a little bit. Who cares? I think maybe where's the 30 on there? It's trying to, it's going to pull out. Okay, so the 30 minutes on the way down. Well, I'm just going to wait again. This is me. I'm waiting for the market to close. It'll be in another 3/4 an hour. It'll come off New York. This is just a flattening out. It'll come into Sydney Asian. I'll have 2 hours to look at it. When it goes to Tokyo, I'm going to make a decision whether I'm going to go into a buy or sell direction. Simple. And I might lose 1-2%, it just depends. But I'll keep looking at having a trade for that direction, possibly with a 10 pip stop loss.
Are you talking about going into a buy or sell at that point, and
Correct.
you're going to just basically follow that direction throughout the day?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Good, Tom. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. If I haven't said it well enough. Okay. So that's that.
Well, everything at the bottom though, like the 4 hour on the stochastic, everything's saying it's going to go into a buy at some point.
Yeah, it's okay, correct,
So
Tom.
doesn't
At
that
some
improve-
point,
Right, but doesn't that improve your forecasting?
it gives me information to add to my forecasting, correct. But it does not, I don't want to commit. This could go down a lot further. I'm going to look at the structure of the market. I'm going to look at whether it's broken structure, where the highs are, where the lows are, that sort of stuff to create a complete picture of whether I enter that trade or not as a buy or a sell. I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Because how many times, Tom, have you done this? I have. You go like, oh, stochastic 4 hours down the bottom, it's going to lift. You get in a trade and you lose one because the thing just keeps, going down.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just
Okay,
saying. So if you're looking at this overall with the structure,
Yes.
by the time the market opens, let's say around London, this is going to have a much different picture.
Oh, correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if we're looking at it and then everything's at the bottom and we're forecasting that it's going to turn around at some point,
Yeah.
in 3 hours, where's that 4 hours going to be?
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct. And if we now go to, say, go to the 3 minute chart, and I just turn that off. We turn the sessions off and I turn that off, right? Now we just look at structure, okay? So what's happened? Actually, I'll go to 5 minutes, probably easier. What's happened?
Well, it's broken a lot of structure there.
Yeah. But it's also done that. Well, we can go back further and it will have done that as well. You look back here. See that? It broke a lot of structure there too. But what's it done? Created lows and create highs. High highs, high highs, high highs. Matched up, high. What's this?
It's a low.
You're correct. There's a pullback in the journey of it pushing further up.
Right.
So after a push down, what's it got to do?
Pull back up.
Yeah, it could. But do we know when? No. This is looking hopeful here. I'm looking at it's created a higher low, it broke structure and created a higher high. But, it hasn't come up to that 62. To the 200. Let's see. Will it push up to there, then pull back down? If it doesn't break this low here, right? If it doesn't break that low when it goes into Sydney, Tokyo, then yeah, sure, it might be a buy. And look how far below that 800 it is and the 200. Well, it likes to come back and kiss them. So maybe it will do that. But the point is, this is in an uptrend. It's likely to break that high. At least break that high. So that's where my head is thinking about just this one pair. I've got a guy at the moment who I don't sort of say this too often. There's one guy I'm sort of just coaching privately in the background. He's a local, he's somebody I've known for years, right? A long time. And he doesn't have necessarily the technical computer skills. So he's picked one pair, and this is my point. He's picked AUD USD, and every day he has to report to me. He has to send me a messenger report of like where price went from, where price went to, whether it was going up, whether it was going down. He has to actually create a sort of a paragraph of what's going on with that pair, and has to send it to me every day, but just one pair. Because, he could look at a whole lot of pairs, but the point is that's going to be confusing for him. So I said to him, you got 28 pairs, pick one. He said, I'm going to have AUD USD. I said, great, that's it. So from now on, you report that to me every day. And that's all we're doing here. We're looking at CAD-JPY or the other, 4 pairs. We haven't looked at the others too much because we're looking at this straightforward Forex indicator and how it's potentially going to assist us in trading. But we're still, there's, if you go down to the 1 minute, you don't see that drop and think, oh, there's going to be a pullback, maybe, right? You've got to pull back out. You've got to come back out to the 4 hour. Well, we know the 4 hours in what trend?
Is it down?
No.
It's going up.
Yeah.
No.
4 hours?
The 4 hours of buy trend. Yeah, absolutely. It's
Oh,
going
yeah.
up and up and up and
Right.
up. Same as UJ, KJ, all going up. But you see, when you start going down in time, on the 15-minute, it's still going up because it's following. But the point is, when you start getting down into this 5 minute, 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute, it has pullbacks. So there's trading advantages in there that's where we can get our percentage of return from it. We're not getting a percentage return from a 4 hour net directly or a 15-minute directly. We're getting it on a lower time frame. Yeah, and we're getting a lot more opportunities. We just need to forecast it. And where we forecast it is, overall, it's an uptrend still. Nowhere has it indicated to me that this has turned and that's a swing high and it's just going to keep going down now. And it's going to keep breaking. It's going to create lower lows and lower highs. It hasn't said that to us yet.
If you look at it on the 4 hour, the pullback is actually quite small compared to some of the pullbacks that have been.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite insignificant actually, but when you look at it on the 5 and the 1 minute, Helen, you're absolutely right. It looks humongous, but it's not. And then again, Helen, it's great percentage return though.
Yeah.
So for me, this is now telling me potentially this is going to go into a buy because it's had quite a big long drop. Like that you couldn't forecast. This you could forecast. And this is what I said. After that, you're going to get a pull down. I didn't think it was going to necessarily break that low down here, but it did. If we put back on the where is it, sessions, you see where it pulled back? It did come lower than where that spike was. Just watching. That's all you need to do. Watch what the market does, pull back. Like it just, it's doing its stuff. Pushed so far above that 800, it had to come back to it. And then it went below it. Now it's got to come above it. Then it's got to go below it. But as this comes up, that 800 will lift up. We'll see. There's that structure to break. There's that to break. There's that to break. There's that to break. There's that to break. And there's that to break. And why didn't I do that? Which is a little crazy. And that I'm going to change to orange. So that's a peak that it pushed to. Yeah. So potentially that's to break. Potentially over whatever time, this week, next week, I don't know. But potentially that's to break. Because if you go to the 4 hour or even to the 1 hour, right? If we go to the 1 hour, look at it. That, turn that off again. That got broken there. That got broken there. That got broken there. That got broken there. That got broken, match there. That got broken there. So this pullback. Now, let's look. These pullbacks have occurred, you know, at lots of points. There's a pullback there. You would go like, oh, this is now in a downtrend. No, and just keep going up. But there's market structure there telling you that that's what it's doing. So at the moment, this is what the structure is telling me, that potentially this is now going back up. We'll see. We'll see. If you look here, the 1 hour is pulling up. But how long? The 4 hour is still down the bottom. So it might not have finished. We might get a pullback up, then a pullback down to make it lower. And then they start to join up and go up. So I'm not going to be sucked in at the moment. All right. Gee whiz, that's a lot of chatting, isn't it? So to answer your question, Alistair, I'm waiting now for another week and a half probably before I can get the panels to get the shower finished.
Can't wait. You sound a lot better, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's still a bit mucusy, but it's thicker and it's obviously starting to clear up a bit. So yeah, so all the cement sheets on the walls now, the 3 walls of the shower, it's all been celasticed up in the bottom. I think we've got a rainy day today, so I'll be in there. I've got a waterproof, put tape and put all this waterproofing rubbish all up the wall and around the floor a bit. That'll take 24 hours to dry. Hopefully today they got the tiles in at the place, so I'll go and pick the tiles up and the tile adhesive. So over the weekend we'll get the tiles all down and let it dry. And then when the panels come, it's basically drill 2 holes in one bit, glue them on, slap them on, put the screen in, and then have a bit of a rain dance. That's going to be it. And no, Alistair, you're not going to get a rain dance video. It's not going to happen.
I've still got a leaky roof.
Oh.
Waiting for a roofer.
Oh, really? You haven't fixed it yourself?
I haven't got ladders to get up.
Oh,
I
right.
need a big ladder and a roof ladder.
Is this external, not internal?
External.
You can't see the internal. It's obviously you got a loft or something that's it's got a ceiling.
Yeah, I need to go on top.
Oh
It'll be
no.
fine. It's just a minor thing, I think.
It's just a drip.
Yeah, a big drip actually, but yeah, it's just stormy. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Well,
All right. Well, hopefully, I don't know if you saw any of my video yesterday, the live. I mean, it was pretty frosty. It was -2 yesterday. So hopefully that might be the last frost of the colder season here. We'll see how we go. I'm lucky I haven't put out any of my little tomato plants. I've got all these little seedlings.
the temperature to the middle of
Like mine's too.
Sorry, Alistair, you're muted.
the temperature is sort of to the left of Aberdeen is going to be 3 degrees.
Oh, it's turning.
So we're pushing the good weather to you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, well, it was a nice day yesterday. It was really sunny. It was up like nearly 20 degrees. So, but with a cold start. So we now got a few rainy days. So the temperature won't get, because we'll have cloud cover, it won't get down too low. So, all right. So any questions? Any answers?
No, Paul did a big job today on his live with the new SFF. Yeah, it was a big presentation. It was good.
Yeah, I think, did he tell you when he was going to get it all released out to you?
Hopefully next week, he said, but they're not given a date. Next week,
Oh,
hopefully.
that's no good. You need confirmation of things so you can all go out and race around and use it. I mean, it's actually been a privilege to be able to trial it and test it out a bit and show you it. Yeah, thanks to, again, an absolute big thanks to Kevin and his ability and his commitment to the community. Big shout out. Big shout out.
Sure.
Thanks, Kev. Look, and and you all get your hands on, you all try it and stuff. I think what Paul's doing is hopefully he's doing other bits and pieces of it. We're just going to create another Facebook group and we'll have people over. They can just send the screenshot of their IM thing and probably a form or something. I don't know. And then Kevin will
that's
just
all got to happen first before he does anything. So,
and then Kevin will just add everyone on then in one sort of batch. It'll be good and everybody can have some access into it. For me,
still make changes to it?
sorry, Tom.
Can they still make changes to it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, well, if you remember Ninjacator, well, you might not remember, Ninjacator used to be version 1, 1.2, 2, version 3, 3.2. So, yeah, there's ways to make change. The thing, though, is it's been Helen, how long has it been that this has been in process? It's been at least a month, isn't it?
I was going to say it's probably about a month now. Yeah.
I think over. Yeah.
I was talking to Anne Quinn today, Anne, and
Yes.
she's she obviously hasn't got the indicator yet, but she's put the 3 key elements together.
Yeah.
She's put a market structure one with smoothing Heikenashis and one which gives you bull and bear. So she's got the 3 key elements. Tomorrow, so tomorrow she will probably complete her evaluation on a £200,000 funded account.
Oh, lovely.
By cobbling it together herself.
Has she shared the cobble?
Yeah, so she's got the market structure arrow, she's got the smoothing Heikenashis, and she's got one which does the bull and the bear. And it's only taken her 4 days to do it. She took it out on Monday and she'll finish it tomorrow. So I
Lovely.
thought, flipping it, we're all, well, I know, I won't say that, not we're all, I'm kind of, I need to get my skates on in that case. If she can do that in 4 days.
Yeah, Helen, I think you're absolutely right. There is a mindset, a large mindset element to this in trading. And it's very much about, like Rian was saying, there are setbacks and things. I mean, one of the big things I've learned is, particularly in the early stages of learning to trade, is like I had idle time where I would get knocked back and think, oh, this thing doesn't work, or I can't do this, and like, nah, stuff it. I'll just sit back for a while. And like, I wasted a lot of time because I didn't sort of push past that with enough vigor, if that makes any sense, and commitment at that time. But now it's like, nah, don't get in my way. Like, I'm gonna, whatever it is, let's push past that. Because they're only obstacles, that's all they are. And the name of the game, or the focus I have, is percentage profit at the end of the day. That's what it is. Conserving capital, percentage of profit at the end of the day. Because why else would we be here? It's not just to say hi to Alistair and Helen, like, even though this is amazing and really a fantastic sort of experience, that's just extra. That's just the gravy on top of, if you like gravy, but that's just the gravy on top of percentage increase, because that's what gives us our ability to have a lifestyle. So today also, hopefully if it's not raining too much, I got to drill some holes, because the son-in-law, I went to order the bloody posts for the grapevine wires. And he said, oh, no, Pa. He said, what you got to do, we'll have to drill a couple of holes to see how deep we can make them. Because I said, how long do we need the poles? Because you've got to order a certain length. He said, we've got to drill holes to see how far we can get down. I said, well, China's underneath. I mean, just keep drilling. But anyway, so, yeah, anyway, that's going to be my day. We'll see how we go, whether it's too wet to drill holes or they'll just fill with water anyway. So,
Oh,
Have you got one of these augers that you use to drill the holes?
yeah, I've got a machine. Yeah, I've got a 2-person, yeah, like a
Yeah.
post hole digger. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, auger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. She's going to be drilling holes.
Good fun.
Anyway, up here where I live, there's a fair bit of like rocky and shaly stuff. So we've got to sort of break through some of that. So that's all he was on about, because we've drilled other post holes and yeah. All right. Until tomorrow.
Good.
Tomorrow is my Friday, last day of the week. We'll see how we go. Take it easy. I'm going to be looking at this Sydney Tokyo session, you know, and then we'll see what happens from there. All right. Everyone have a good sleep if that's what you're doing. Ray, have a great day.
I got to
Take
do
it
a university check-in tomorrow, so I'll be struggling to be on. I might manage, let you know.
You're going to be doing university.
I've got to take the oldest to uni.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to uni. I was just wondering what you
No,
were enrolling
I
in.
did that a long time ago.
All right. All right then.
In a
Ciao.
different life.